Hi, I'm Grant. I'm Brand Director, EVE Online.
Emily, Senior Brand Manager for EVE Online.
EVE Fanfest 2023. How does it feel to come into this year with not only so many things behind you, but also so many cool things ahead of you as far as just EVE Online as a whole?
Yesterday was a big day for us. We announced Havoc, next expansion coming out 14th of November, not far away. It's good to announce things that are going to be in the players' hands very soon. We've also announced EVE Vanguard, so our modular FPS experience connected to day one as part of EVE Online. That coming to Omega subscribers and Mega players in December. So again, not far to wait to get your hands on that as well. So it feels like it's a really big moment for us. This is us taking a step into the third decade. We had a huge expansion back in November last year with Uprising. We built upon those strong foundations in Viridian in June, and we're about to take an even bigger step. And it's part of a significant sort of 3-year plan that we're working towards. And it's, as I say, it's a step in the next decade for EVE Online and the EVE universe.
It's such an interesting thing to think about, just not only 20 years of this game, but thinking about 10 more as you go. How do you even begin to set the planning in place for this milestone and this next chapter of the brand?
One of the things that we really focus on is building with the community, and I think that EVE Vanguard, that's exactly what we're going to be doing with the new FPS module that we're introducing into EVE Online. And with this expansion, we have been really doing everything we can to listen to the community and set good foundations, address things with the expansion, just make everything stronger. And we're going to continue to do that into this third decade with future expansions, which we'll be releasing twice a year. And we're not going to stop. We're stronger than ever, and we're stronger because we work with our community to build this game and co-create with them.
Yeah, we say a lot about EVE Forever. There's not many games that make it this far, this long. I feel like we're only just beginning, really. I've been with the company just over 2 years. I think it's really exciting to think about what the foundations we've got to then build upon. And EVE Vanguard is just the next major milestone in that. So yeah, super excited. Like as Emily says, it's super connected to the community. It's built with the community. We'd be nothing without the community. Eve's going to be around a lot longer than I will be. So yeah, we try to think a few years ahead. It's impossible to know what that looks like. Plans get very, very woolly. You go too many years ahead. So you've got to adapt and change to how the world is, how the game's being played, how the community is reacting to stuff. So we don't really think 10 years ahead as such. We just know this is the foundations for where we're going in the immediate future.
And there's also quite a lot of work that's being done in the technical foundations in EVE right now, especially with Carbon. EVE Evolved has had a lot of changes over this last year, and that's just really going to strengthen the game on a technical level. There's all these massive battles that happen, and it's going to continue to grow, and the community is going to continue to grow, and we want to make sure that the game is on a solid foundation. And there's been a lot of great work that's been going into that. And that's just going to set us up for success as we enter the third decade, and we continue to release these amazing expansions. We continue to put new features in the game, bring more players into the game, either via EVE Vanguard or in other ways and other gateways. And yeah, it's all very exciting.
The player base is kind of the lifeblood of the narrative of EVE. The developers have mentioned it's more about just putting more toys in the sandbox to play with than it is about trying to make the story themselves. As brand managers, how do you sort of remain dynamic and remain and respond to the narrative as it plays out? Because there's so much that's kind of out of your control in that regard. How do you operate around that?
We have to remain very agile with this. We are very tied to the team who's working on this, so we're engaging with them every day to see where are things at. We meet regularly to actually discuss what's the status, what are players up to right now, what have they uncovered, and we have our finger on the pulse with what's happening with any narrative that's any EVE Ops event or anything that's happening in the game, and and then we just are very agile. That's basically it. We just have to remain agile because it makes EVE feel so vibrant, alive, player driven, which is what we want. So we as brand managers we want to just center in that and do it.
Yeah, I think what Emily says there, we have to be agile. Like, there's some things that are out of our control, and it's a bit nerve-wracking being trying to drive a brand when you don't know how players are going to react to stuff. Like, sometimes they do things far quicker than we perhaps had planned for, and so we try as much as possible to sort of prep for most eventualities, but we will never get them all, and EVE players constantly surprise us. So we there's obviously some things we can control to a degree. Like, obviously we knew what we were going to be announcing yesterday. We were able to control some of the timing there, and we thread some of this amazing content together in a way that we think is going to be appealing to existing players and maybe some lapsed players as well, and bring back players that maybe stepped away, taken a break, or maybe old Dust fans. Like, there's times and moments like our major beats where we can coordinate in a coherent manner on our own timescales, but there are times when we just have to let go and be like, wow, it's the players who are going to be deciding what happens next, where it goes next to a degree, and we just have to be agile and react.
Yeah, it was amazing how quickly our players found the gates to Zarzak. I mean, that was completely unexpected. But we go into these events just not knowing, how long is it going to take? We just, when we start them, we just are monitoring it. We actually had a whole publishing plan behind this to when each gate was found, and then we ended up just having to just go, nope, we're just gonna do this big moment because they did it in 4 days. And it was great, and then we were able to put out the scope and that and recognize the players there, and we adapted and did that very agilely, and it was cool, and it was a great moment.
That was definitely something that stood out to me. It was just the idea that you had the developers left the breadcrumbs there. There was this thought that it may take 2 weeks, maybe a month or something like that. 4 days later.
Yeah. We were
hoping for a little bit longer.
We were just astounded. Seriously, we were absolutely astounded at how quickly they did that. But that's what is amazing about this community when they put their minds to something. And you saw in the keynote yesterday. There's a real stream footage of players trying to solve this puzzle, and some people didn't get sleep. They were just so focused on this because there's huge rewards at stake, and our players amaze us every day at how smart and capable they are when they work together. It was amazing. It was honestly amazing to witness.
Walking the floor here at EVE Fanfest, it's really just you look around and there's so much beyond just the game. The culture around this game is so diverse. You look out there and there's you got a board game that people are trying out. You have the merch that people are checking out. You have the special the special limited edition EVE alcohol and stuff like that, and even a tattoo artist doing EVE tattoos out there. How do you operate around so many different moving parts of culture and merch and branding? I wouldn't say being prohibitive, but also making sure that I guess doesn't go too far, but also allows people to be creative.
It's a challenge, right? There are so many things we could take the brand, diversification. The EVE universe is massive, way bigger than our modest brand team could ever hope to do everything. So we have to prioritize some things. We work with partners. We find partners that we think are ideal. So Titan Forge, perfect example of a fantastic partner to work with. And hopefully, I don't know if you've tried it yourself, but I think the feedback we've been getting on it, it's just been super, super positive. So just choosing the right partners to work with in their areas of expertise, so we can focus on what we do well, which is EVE Online. So, picking those right partners, saying no to a lot of stuff, just because their focus needs to be kept to a degree. But there's so many opportunities. There is endless opportunities of what we could do with the wider EVE universe brand.
To use a Spaceballs reference, how do you react to something like going from like EVE the toilet paper to EVE the flamethrower?
I don't know. I think you got to have fun with a lot of stuff. A lot of things created in the community. You just got to roll with it. Like we've even conversations we've even had like over the last few days about hot sauce and stuff. Like, you know, there's fun things that will just remain fun things, and there are things that will you know, start off as a seed and will grow. And if it gains traction, it will go somewhere. And I guess, you know, like a board game is an example of that. It's obviously now at the stage where it's at, but there are just ideas that bubble up through various places, members of the community, members of the team, people who are just curious, you know.
There's also, you know, CCP has its own culture and brand, and then EVE Online has its own as well. So we joke around about, you know, CCP Weird, like keep CCP Weird. We do a lot of these funny videos with volcanoes blowing people up and stuff like that, and we have fun with that. And then we turn a good eye to EVE Online to, you know, figure out how we can best showcase EVE, you know, in various ways. Hot sauce has come up as an option, the deathless hot sauce. So we're gonna see if we can make that happen.
Taking it back to like the games and the modules and the projects going forward, like how do you feel about the future of this whole brand and where it's headed and what's happening and what you have planned?
We are trying to create the ultimate sci-fi. That's no small undertaking. I think we got a huge opportunity in front of us. I think Vanguard's going to bring a lot of potential EVE players from the past and Dust players back, interested. You bring them back with reignite some of those interests from the past, some of those flames. But I also think I know it needs to appeal to a modern day shooter enthusiast, right? It has to stand alone as a shooter experience, you know. So, you know, bringing more people in as a new gateway into the EVE universe is just one of the many gateways in. Galaxy Conquest being another. We announced that yesterday, or the day before. We announced that yesterday as well. You know, the tabletop game. These are all just new ways where more and more players can touch New Eden in different ways, and regardless of whether they come for the mobile, come for the FPS, you know, whatever. Like, it's just more ways that we can build a community who are going to help feed and grow together all these experiences with us.
This moment with the 20th anniversary and what we announced yesterday really feels like the first step to this. With the board game, with Galaxy Conquest, with EVE Vanguard, it feels like our first big step to expanding the EVE universe into these other areas, and I definitely see us doing more in the future. This just feels like the beginning.